So Revelation chapter 7 verse 9. So after listing the servants of God who are sealed out of the 12 tribes, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, all kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne and about the elders and the 4 beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honour and power and might be unto our God for ever and ever. Amen. And so in chapter 7 there you can see the names of the 12 tribes. And in this work of New Jerusalem with the healing properties of the gemstones, then I've married them with the meanings of the names of the sons cited at Revelation 7, which reveal the healing process of having the courage to conquer the fear with faith, to seek the truth and happiness, to be able to find peace, and the wrestlings to understand the right way and the wrong way, to choose the right way for righteousness to prevail. So haram and halal if you're an Arabic or Muslim person, because let's remember the healing is for all nations, out of every tribe and every tongue. And so when things go wrong, then there has to be the forgiveness. And forgiveness, like saying sorry, can be very hard. Sorry is the hardest word, and but it's the most powerful. So that ability to be able to forgive, to be able to hear how a person is feeling, to hear and acknowledge an emotion. Because pain and emotions just need acknowledgement. They just need to be heard, and then they can shift and they can move on. So it's really, really hard to forgive and say sorry, but when that acknowledgement of a hurt or pain is made conscious, then it can move and shift. And we need to adhere to this whole process of causing love to become whole and one in us in order to get the reward. And that reward is the release of the endorphins in our bodies, in our body, which is the temple for God's love to dwell. So it's the release of the dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the anandamide, and I'm sure that there's others too. That feel-good factor that we always used to refer to it as, that natural feel-good factor that comes from doing good to others, helping others, and likewise it's a two-way process. We must remember to observe the commandments in order to love God and to love others as self. So we need to include ourselves in that perfect measure. And then we have to tolerate those who are still on their journey and still learning. We have to have trust. Trust is fundamental. So that again is through observing the commandments, knowing that somebody's not going to betray or hurt us. That's a test for them, isn't it? And then truth. We can see here that Benjamin, who represents the truth, runs right the way through the centre. Oops, can't see it all. Of this work. And only our truth will set us free. So we're all human beings. Well, we're human beings when we can attain to love. Otherwise than that, we're just a man or woman or a stressed one in between. And so it's not a case of whether it's just one set of religion is going to be saved and conquer. It's about God saving all of mankind. And really it's when the stress in the body, then the emotional processing is not able to happen. That's shut down. And actually I just read that we're sealed in our foreheads. And in our foreheads is the prefrontal cortex of our brain, which is where all the emotional processing happens. And so it brings, when we've got that part of our brain working, it means we're out of the stress response, we're out of the hindbrain. I put all of this into language that everybody can understand, I hope. So if you look up my life cycle, I think that's on my website actually, www.francis with 2 S's .org. And I'm afraid there's not very much on there really, but there's the essentials. So I'm going to read today this poem called Life. And I start with life is not about what religion, but about our faith in the good, because faith is that assured expectation of the things not yet beheld, the evident faith is the assured expectation of the things not yet beheld, the evident demonstration of the things not yet beheld. Not quite got that right anyway. It's the ultimate positive expectation of good. It's the ultimate positive for love in the future. And many people will have doubts. There's the Murphy's Law, oh, everything goes wrong, oh, I'm not good enough, it's not going to happen for me. Well, we need to overcome all of those thoughts, and I've had to overcome them too. And we need to attain to that positive faith, which is a psychological process in all of our brains and mind, body, and spirit, or to get to spirit. So yeah, God's healing is for all nations, and sort of as I'm working through this work, even now, doing this through Lent, it's these are the nations. The nations, the states of mind and states of being that we must attain to in order to cause God's love to become made whole and one in us, which is through Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, anointed. So, healing is for us all. Life is not about what religion, but about our faith in the good. Life is not about what colour, but about our compassion and humanity. Life is not about what gender, but about our thinking and reasoning abilities. Life is not about sex, but about feelings, care, and making love. Life is not about anxiety, stress, and fear, but about love, hope, and trust. Life is not about fighting, enmity, and violence, but about peace, harmony, trust, and faith. Life is not about fear and negativity, but about being positive, loving, and kind. Life is wonderful if and only if we cultivate positive love. So that poem Life is from Parousia Loves Light, and the process of the healing of New Jerusalem and the consciousness, because of course Jesus Christ is the Messiah, the wonderful Counsellor and Prince of Peace, and that attaining to peace within us involves the consciousness of how God's love works in us as a psychological process for creating love and light in us, in our bodies, the temple where God's love does dwell, for healing all nations and heaven on earth, as promised by God, who is love. Love is always positive, and #love is not a cortisol stress hormone. In fact, God's love is recommending us not to sin, which causes the stress hormones, which causes that stress response in our bodies, which are the temples. So it's all about conquering that fear. And I think you could almost equate adrenaline to Satan as that sort of false burst of energy and feeling great, feeling superpowered, supercharged, but it's not sustainable. So in order for it to be sustainable, it has to come from the love, which comes from the endorphin neurotransmitters. Thanks be to God. He has created us this way. He's created us to feel great when we live by the laws of love, and we also get the pains when we don't. So once that guilt and shame is activated when a wrong's been done, or whether it's been done to another or done to you, that will cause stress in the body, and that shame and guilt will set mechanisms of denial, of lying, of transferring onto another person, anything but admit the wrong done and forgive another or the self. So God has made us in an amazing way, and our pain is our message for how to get out of pain. Thanks be to God. And Jesus Christ is returning quickly. May he come quick. Thank you.